Hi, Marie Diamond. You are so welcome to Livsenergi. How are you today?
I'm doing really well, Alexandra. So happy to be here with all of you.
That's nice. Have you ever met the Swedish audience before?
I have never spoken in Sweden, but I do have a lot of Swedish students online.
Oh, that's nice. From my point of view, Feng Shui, or how do I pronounce it? Feng Shui? Feng Shui?
Feng Shui is, yeah,
Feng
Shui is really good. Yeah.
Feng Shui has been interested for me for decades. And I can see that once in a while in Sweden, it pops up a book or, a trend or something. But there are not so many books. So I was so happy when we found your book, because it's also different to most of the other Feng Shui books that are published. It's very practical and easy to follow.
Yes.
So we thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, for me, it's super exciting to share Feng Shui. Of course, I talk from the perspective of manifestation and law of attraction, as I'm also known as one of the major teachers in the hit movie and bestseller, The Secret. I'm actually the only European in this global phenomena. And so for me, explaining how you can manifest by using your home, by using the ancient energy system of Feng Shui is really beautiful. And also I'm a classically trained Feng Shui master. And that means that I really go very deep, very personal, based on your personal energy number. We'll talk about that. And also make it very practical, to really bring this ancient knowledge in a very practical way to the world. And I always believe, as a European, that it's I'm very analytic and positive, but also to make things practical step by step. That's always a key point for me.
That sounds like a good how do you say, base for having combining this Feng Shui with the law of attraction. So actually, the reason why we're here today is because your book, Feng Shui Your Life, is published in Swedish. And we are the publisher, the lucky publisher of this fantastic book. So
yeah, I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, good. So you did sell a lot of some rights to other countries as well, I assume. Are there any countries that are more interested in Feng Shui?
Well, I think it's overall a trend that more and more people, especially since COVID times, that people are more and more interested in finding out how they can improve their family life by the energy of their home. So, of course, my major students are in the USA and Canada and Australia, but I taught in more than 30 countries around this topic. So, and I have students in more than 190 countries online. So I do feel everybody at a certain point is looking for solutions for their family, for their business, for their personal growth. And so then they, start looking for people. And as I'm quite well known in the world of law of attraction manifestation, I hope that this book will, get to many countries.
Yeah, I hope so too. It's something that I think is really, really good for life and for relationships and business. Yeah, life in general, right? I can't wait to apply Feng Shui to my home, and I haven't started yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a book. It's I call it like a book where myself, it's like Marie is holding your hand and goes step by step through the house. Yeah. So I wanted to create a book that, people could feel that I was leading them and guiding them through their house, through their relationships, their money issues, and to see practically what they could change. I mean, I do this for more than 30 years. So this is, I have many beautiful stories, but also, I create a very practical system. Now, the whole Feng Shui life is perhaps different than some other Feng Shui books in the sense that we're using your personal birthday. And based on that, we're looking for an energy number and directions, compass directions that are good for you. Now, the book is also connected in with my free app so that people can actually, with the app, use the book and go step by step through the house. Because I'm not there personally with them, but I want to have them the feeling that I'm there with them step by step.
Yeah. And I've been looking into the app, but I've also realized that you don't need the app to get all the value from the book. So you do also have a lot in the book.
Yes. Yeah. And so the app is really to help to understand, to work with a compass. But if people have another compass, they can work with that. But some people don't know how to work with a compass. So then the app makes it more easier. But there's so much information that people right away can start looking into. And so, yeah, the feedback has been really beautiful.
Oh, that's so nice to hear. I'm glad. So how did everything start? How did Feng Shui come into your life?
Well, Feng Shui came into my life at 15 years old. So that's quite a while ago. And so it all happened after a near-death experience that I encountered when I was 15. And so I was run over by a truck and I went to the other side. And in that experience, I was told that I had to get back because that I was here to enlighten more than 500 million people. Now, I had no idea, of course, what that meant as a 15-year-old. I always say, if that would be now, I would start a TikTok account. But, at that time, it was us trying to be of service to my community, to my church, to really try to up my game of service, to create a better humanity. So at that time, I already had a spiritual teacher. I had my spiritual teacher encountered when I was 7 years old. And I asked after meeting him again, why did I attract this bad luck? Why did I attract this accident that I almost lost my life? And he said, very interesting, he said, you have bad Feng Shui. And I was like, what's that? I mean, you have to understand, I'm raised Catholic in a country like Belgium. So we don't hear this kind of words. I mean, we do have a local Chinese restaurant, but, nobody would ever talk about word Feng Shui. I was looking it up in the library. Nobody could find anything about it. But he gave me a few tips, a few first steps. And the first step that he gave me was to really look at my environment through the eyes of like the universe, of God. And so when I looked around me, all the images were of single people. So like models, that I did hang out posters. And I mean, I was definitely seen in my family as a model, not in a physical way, but I was a very good student. I mean, I was like, I was not almost like a teenager. I was like a grown up, right? And so, but I had no friends. I was very much bullied at school. And so the whole bedroom experience was very depressing for me. So he said, change rooms. And he gave me some colors to work with. So I changed the rooms to a room that had much more sunlight, because I was like in the north side of the house. I moved to the west side. So I had like warm sunlight every evening. I changed it and created like a warm color. And I chose orange because I love orange. And so I put that on the wall. I started drawing paintings of, I mean, I was not a great painter, but I was like drawing, friends and a romance and just like something else, because I started understanding that whatever is around me is subconsciously affecting me. And so the energy
you
of
had that notion already when you were a teenager.
Yes, I did. Yeah, because I'm very observant. I'm an Aquarius, so I'm a very observant personality, and so I was like, there must be something that I need to change. So I changed it around, and within a few weeks, I had my first love. But it was a handsome man. So it was like the bully stopped bullying me like overnight. It was very interesting, and so. So I started having friends. I started having from being really depressed. When I look back, I was a depressed teenager. I was, really good at school, but for the rest, I had no social life. To having still being good at school, but having a social life that was enriching my experience. And so that was my first steps. And then I asked my teacher to learn more about it. I said, "Oh, you will be in your early 30s when I will come back with you on this." And so when I was in my early 30s, he told me that the first book on Feng Shui was out. And so within 6 months, I was studying in London and in Malaysia, and found my grandmaster to really study really in depth at. But meanwhile, in that period between my 15 and my 30, I had become a lawyer. And so for working for the government, the European Union. So I was like already on a whole other road, but I started consulting company at 30, and I started implementing more and more my Feng Shui techniques to help my clients. And before I knew it, I was teaching more about meditation and more about Feng Shui than I was really consulting my clients. And so it kind of went that direction.
That's fantastic. I'm so happy that you actually followed your heart there and your spirit guide.
I did totally. And it's also when I started studying that, for me, it was so easy. I have a very mathematical mind. And so because advanced and mastery level Feng Shui is very mathematical, it's an energy system. You need to understand the five theory, the theory of the five elements very well. You have to understand how the numerology works behind it. So when I started studying with my grandmaster, it was like I understood this for so easily. So I always said, I probably had some past lives studying Feng Shui already.
Yeah, I bet you did. So how come from the 30s where you were where you dove into Feng Shui, how did everything evolve? And then you met Rhonda Byrne and The Secret and everything.
So I was living in Belgium at that time. And so for the first 8 years, I was working with Feng Shui, with meditation courses. So to really practice all of this, I started having a certain name. I was, published in certain magazines and so on. But, it was still for a smaller audience in that sense. I mean, there were thousands of people, but still, I was not going to reach the millions of people that I had envisioned. So at 38, I immigrated to the United States, and I started from scratch again. And but very quickly, I started attracting very major people because I had used my Feng Shui in such a way that I create a vision board, but I think a lot of people are creating after The Secret, or they have a journal, or they have written down their goals. And so I put it, and you'll see in the book Feng Shui Your Life, that you put it actually in your success direction. And so for everybody, it's different based on your birthday. There's a success direction. Mm-hmm. So I put on my vision board a little yellow Post-it note which says, I'm going to be in a movie seen by millions of people that will transform the world. And in Feng Shui, you also try to put activations, so symbols that are relating with the message you want to create. So for me, a film, of course, I thought about an Oscar. So I put an Oscar out, and that was 2001. And so I put on Marie Diamond on that Oscar 2005, because I felt like I needed a few years. So the first thing that started happening within a month is that I attracted as a client Marcy Shimoff, who is actually one of the people in The Secret. And then she brought me to John Gray, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and to Jack Canfield, who's also in The Secret and The Success Principles. And I started mentoring them, both on a spiritual level to help to clear their energy, but also with Feng Shui. And so I changed their desk, I changed their homes, because they all felt they were hitting a ceiling. And so these are like top people. And so within a few months, I attracted my first Oscar-winning client. So I never thought about that I would attract an Oscar-winning client, but I had put my Oscar out there. And then ultimately, Jack Canfield invited me to the Transformation Leadership Council 20 years ago. And so that's like a mastermind of transformational teachers and authors. Most of them had already sold millions of books and were very well known. And I was like one of the only unknown people in the room. And I was just celebrating last weekend the 20th anniversary of that mastermind. And I remember Jack Canfield saying, well, you will be as famous as everybody else. You just have to come. And so that is where the third time we came together, we met this woman called Rhonda Byrne that created a movie called The Secret. And she was interviewing people. And that was my first television interview ever. So I had never been in front of a camera till that time. So you see how unknown I was, right? And so she gave me a beautiful piece, a beautiful clip in The Secret, where I talked about how the images that are around you is affecting you subconsciously, but is also about the law of attraction in your home. And so that is how I got into The Secret. And 6 months later, other people that were filmed for The Secret but did not got retained in the movie were seeing the movie, and they said like, oh my God, so beautiful. And they were asking me, why is it that you, an unknown person, is in the movie? And I just said, well, it was on my vision board. Was it on yours? Yeah. So that was the question I asked. But of course, I had a really good feng shui. And so meanwhile, I already had attracted a lot of celebrities. And now I have more than 20 Oscar-winning clients. So the Oscars are still in my success direction, but not real ones. They're fake ones. I never won a real Oscar.
But then again, you are amongst it, right? They're surrounding you.
They're surrounding me. And a really wonderful story. One day, I just became aware that I only put one Oscar out.
Oh, yes.
Right. And I was like, okay, why do I do that? But there are perhaps people who have won more than 2 Oscars. And I only attracted people with 1 Oscar at that point. So I changed it and bought 2 other fake Oscars. So I had 3 fake Oscars. And that was like within a week after doing that, I attracted Steven Spielberg as a client who at that time had won 3 Oscars. And so it was very interesting. It's like the universe is so precise, Yeah. So 1 Oscar was not enough. Now I have several clients that have more than 3 Oscars, but it's really interesting. It's like you have to be so precise, and you have to understand your home is as like a 3-dimensional vision board. Everything around you is affecting you nonstop. And so it's possible you've been focusing on your mindset. It's possible you've been focusing on your goals, trying to do the right things, doing affirmations, meditations, following your purpose. But if your home is telling a different story, and your home is telling a different story 24 hours a day, when you sleep, when you work, when you live, it's nonstop telling a story, that exactly is going to influence you on a subconscious level. So if you're not aligning your goal setting, how you feel about your future with the space that you live, sleep, or work in, then it will be much harder to manifest with ease and effortless. Because all these things, Alexandra, I did not really have to do that much for it. It just came easier to me because my home is aligned with what I want.
Yeah. So I have one question for you that is like concrete and tangible, sort of. So you have lots of, looking at my own house, some of it are in order and, feng shui aligned, sort of, from what I feel. But some parts of it I have a problem with. You know, I don't know what to do with it, how to put the furniture in it. And I think a lot of people would agree with me that some rooms are harder to just, even though they don't think about feng shui, they want to have it cozy and nice, but they can't figure out how. So when you have that kind of situation, what should you, how, first of all, before you actually get to that room and actually make it in the way that you feel comfortable, how does that affect your life, having a room that you don't feel is like it should be?
Well, you know, you have to understand your whole home is reflecting you, right?
Yeah.
So it is possible that that home, I don't know which direction of the home that is, let's say it would be in the southwest area of the home. And if southwest is an important area, it is in the southwest?
Yes.
I'm probably into it. So depending if what your energy number is, southwest could, like for me, that is my success direction, right? For somebody else, it can be their health direction. So it could be that the fact that you can't organize it well, or you can't really deal with it, that literally it is connected with what is living inside of you. This could be a blockage that is inside of you. Yeah. So even if southwest is not one of your good directions, it still stands for something. Like generally it stands for relationship, it stands for teamwork, it stands of being a powerful woman, it stands for motherhood or your relationship with your mother. So it could be that what is there is a reflection of an inner blockage in you. Yeah. So as you're going through that, the fact that you have a hard time navigating that energy there, like with the how to put it together, what to hang there, it is a reflection of what is inside of you. Because through our subconscious, we don't know exactly what it is, but then through going through the book, you will start seeing, oh, this is an area I need to also look into myself. Yeah. What to work with that. Yeah. So some people just feel the vibration is blocked and they have a hard time to tackle it. Yeah. But it's also telling something about you. Yeah. So there are, of course, areas where we feel the vibration is off. Yeah. And so the first thing I always say to people, try to declutter that area. Yeah. Because it's possible that try to declutter the area. Yeah. Okay. Also, they're the wrong colors that you have put in there. Like, for example, in the Southwest, if people would have put there a lot of images of water or a lot of blues, then literally they would feel very muddy, like things are getting stuck. Yeah. Because these are the wrong colors for the Southwest. But if they would work more with earth tones and even fire tones, they would feel like, oh, it's getting easier. So that's why we work also a lot with interior designers and architects. And sometimes we see that people say like, oh, that area of this house, we have such a hard time working with it. But then when I look at it, I'm like, yeah, but it's all the wrong forms. It's the wrong colors. It's the wrong shapes. And so the moment I give them indications, they get like, oh, now I know what to do. And it flows easier. So it's possible the colors, the images that are there are just counterworking that vibration. And so sometimes it's just good to take everything out then, and then start looking with the book Feng Shui Your Life. What can I do in this area to really up the energy of that space?
Do you know what's so funny? Now it's empty.
Yeah.
So now we should start together with Feng Shui Your Life.
Yeah, now it's a good thing because sometimes we just want to fix things. Yeah, let's fix and add. But sometimes I say to people, just better to take it all out and strip it bare and to say just like, okay, let me go back into it. Yeah. But that's kind of what I've seen with a lot of people. They try, but they try from a more aesthetic perspective, but I always say start from an energetic perspective. That will be much better.
Yeah, it's very smart. So I have read that you have have a sensibility to energies ever since you were a child. Yeah.
That is true. So since I'm as young as I can remember, I saw the energy field of people and houses, and I saw the chakras, I saw the aura field. And so for me, I thought everybody had that till I found out that it was not. And that, of course, has been an extra support for me in working with Feng Shui. When I talk about Feng Shui Your Life, and the whole thing in the book is really based on the system, the energy system that is around for thousands of years. But of course, if I work with somebody in their home or online or in person, having that extra sensibility to feel and to read a room as an extra support. Yeah. Of course, that is very helpful.
So about your gift of sensing energy fields, did you have an idea of your room before your spirit guide told you that you have bad feng shui? Did you have an idea about your room?
Yes,
before?
I did, because I had nonstop nightmares there. I felt very lonely there. I don't think I cried ever so much in my life as in that room. So I just knew that. But you know, when you're young, in that time, right, people were not aware of interior design. People were not aware of, you know, the energy. So I remember I would get out of that room in the middle of the night, sitting on the stairs, just do prayers and do meditation, because I always said to my parents, I hate this room. So I knew it, I felt it, but there was no alternative, because all the other rooms were taken till my brothers moved out of the house when I was 14. And then I was able to, you know, when the accident happened, I was able to move into that other room, because I was like, had become a guest room. So it's just like, you know, most of the time people feel it, that something is off, because they're trying to avoid to go to sleep in a bedroom, or they try to avoid being in that space. Yeah. Or they try to avoid sitting in their living room. They always sit in the kitchen. So if we follow our instinct, right, we know subconsciously that something is off in a certain area. There's a certain vibration, a certain law of resonance that we have. And that can be even outside your home, that you're going to a restaurant and it looks beautiful and the food is good and you feel like, I'm never going back there. And then a place where the food is perhaps less good, but there's a great vibe there. So you keep going back there. So I do believe we have that instinct of finding the right places for us. And so I always say to people, look at where you love most to be in your home, because probably it has some really good feng shui. You just don't know yet because you don't know how the system works.
No, exactly. And that's what we can learn through Feng Shui Your Life.
Correct. So to not only find the good places, but also to make every place really in harmony and in peace, so that you will love being there. So many times when I have changed people's homes, then they're like, or they have worked with a book and they're like, oh my God, suddenly I love being in my family room. I never spend time there. Or now I love my bedroom, or my children love their bedroom. They don't come to me to sleep every night anymore, because now their home, their bedroom is feeling so cozy and so aligned with them. Yeah. So the whole point is that every part of your home becomes beautiful and in harmony.
Yeah, exactly. So can I ask you, we have touched on this before, but I figured if we can just, in a nutshell, what is Feng Shui?
Well, Feng Shui is an energy system that is around for thousands of years, created by, I say, Chinese masters, but perhaps they were shamans at that time, more likely, and they were able to understand how qi, how energy flows. And so they found that both on the body, in like acupuncture or working with movements, like Tai Chi, Qigong, but they also understand there was a flow of qi, a flow of energy in the environment where people were living. And so they used the same theories of the 5 elements, how chi is flowing, also in the environment. And that is called the energy system of Feng Shui, what means literally wind and water. So if we are in the right flow of the wind and the right flow of water, they saw that we are actually increasing our good luck or good vibrations, because luck is frequencies, to attract better health. First of all, that's what they looked for, better relationships. Ultimately, because of that, you will attract more success and money and spiritual growth. And so it's an ancient art that right now is more and more practiced by people worldwide.
And by any kind of person, really. You don't have to be spiritual and practicing anything in order to apply Feng Shui to your life.
Yeah, so it's nothing to do with spirituality or religion. It's an energy system. It's like acupuncture can be practiced by anyone, right? It's the same way. It's like an acupuncture system for your home. And what we see is that I have people from all backgrounds, all cultures, all races, all religions, because it's a very practical system that everybody can practice in their home to enhance their business, enhance their professional life, enhance their family, enhance their health and finances. So it's all, if you start feeling better and feeling higher energy and higher frequencies, your life will attract much more beautiful results.
Thank you. Can you share a concrete example from your own life of how, well, actually, we did already get your childhood room change as a very concrete example. Do you have another example from perhaps a client or something that can tell us a little bit more about how Feng Shui can affect our lives?
Well, I'm thinking about this one woman, and she wanted to really get married. Yeah. And so she said to me, can you please come to my house? I've tried everything. And I said, yeah, let me check out what your home is sharing as story towards what you want to accomplish. And so it was very interesting. She was a Catholic woman, and she did have, beautiful images, religious images out in her home. And I said, that's beautiful, but you have also understand you made it too spiritual, too religious, yeah? Especially when you were going up to her bedroom, on the wall were all what we call the stations of the journey of Jesus. So, and before she actually went into her bedroom was an image that was there of Jesus laying dead on the lap of his mother. And when you came into her bedroom was an image of Jesus with a thorn crown with, drips of blood on his face. And I said to her, laughingly, the man is already dead before he gets even in your bedroom, And so it was like very interesting. And of course, I want to honor her religion. And I said, is there a place in your home where do you pray, where you do your religious practice? She said, yes, I have a specific place. So let's put all these images there, because that is the resonance. You don't want to really focus on that when you bring somebody upstairs. And she said, it's very interesting. 12 years ago, when I bought this house, I hanged all these images out. I was actually engaged. And within a few months, the man disappeared. And I said, well, subconsciously, he got the message, if I get to that bedroom, I'm literally dead. Yeah. So I said to her, why don't we hang instead images of couples? Yeah. Images of happiness, as flowers, something when you go up there that you feel like, hey, this is a wonderful experience. So we changed the image from above her bedroom, from instead of the dying Christ, to an image of a couple that is dancing, right? Something very romantic. Interesting enough, 6 weeks later, the man that she got engaged with 12 years ago reconnect with her on Facebook, and they start dating again. And then within a year, they got finally married. And so I always say she somehow unconsciously probably was not ready for that relationship at that time, right? Because I always say we reflect back, what we live, what is inside of us outside, but what is outside of us reflects back inside of us. So as she changed it now, she actually said to the universe, to God, I am ready for a relationship, and the man showed up again.
Yeah. So actually, so not always is the things that we like and care for and think are beautiful, they're not always the best things to have around us.
Correct. Well, there are always places where we can have them, right? So we always look for, that is why it is, we look at different directions, right? So in the book Feng Shui Life, you'll see we're focused on your health, on relationship, on your spiritual growth, on your success and money. But, you know, if, for example, you have an image of, let's say, whales. Yeah, you love whales. It's like a spiritual animal for you, but you put that in your success direction. But your success direction should be about your professional life. Now, if you're not working with whales, literally, you're, for example, not a guide on the oceans to bring people to whales, then that is not the right image in that direction. But if whales is something that spiritually you connect with, you'll put it in your wisdom direction. Yeah. So be that you feel like, hey, that inspires me for my health, you could put it in your health direction. So you have to become more consciousness about what these images mean, what they stand for, how you relate with it. Yeah. So that is why you can put certain things in certain places and other things not, because they're energetically not resonating with what you really want to accomplish.
True. So we're organizing our home. It's not just how do you say, furnishing it in a different way. We're actually organizing it energetically.
That is so true. So furnishing, of course, is important, the way you position yourself. For example, you will also learn if you face a certain direction, like I'm right now facing my wisdom direction, what is great because I'm sharing wisdom with you.
Yes.
So there's all different things that you can do with your positioning of your desk, of your bed, and so on, that goes into the book. But it's also looking at your house with different eyes. So it's like I said, what is the God within you? What is the universe within you? It's picking up from all the images that are around you. And this is a system that you say like, oh, that's my health direction. What do I put in my health direction will affect me subconsciously nonstop, because it's a quantum physics field. So it affects you even if you're not in the space. Yeah, it will affect you all the time. So the moment people do that, they start reorganizing their life by reactivating their home, really.
So smart. I'm happy that you actually can do that with physical things, because a lot about spirituality is about the mind.
Yes.
And yeah.
Yeah, some people, you know, and we say, that's what my grandmaster said, there was 3 parts to the law of attraction. The first part is what we call the spiritual part. And that is, you know, when we pray for things, when we meditate for things, when we are aligned with our soul purpose. And of course, we can do a lot on that level by asking the universe, by asking God to support us, right? So that is crucial, but it's not everything. The second part is what we call the human luck, and that is actually, what do you do daily? Like, what do you do with your mindset? What do you do with your heart? What actions do you take? You know, we need to also live our human potential, right? And a lot of people in the self-development will say that is everything you need to do. Just focus on your mindset. But if you understand that a lot of the top speakers and authors in that field, you know, they are getting stuck, and that is why they work with me to do their homes. Even Rhonda Byrne from The Secret, she was stuck. She said, The Secret doesn't work for me. And so I had to rearrange her space, and even the publisher, and like 50% of the people in The Secret were my students at certain points, for me to rearrange their vibration, because then they start putting the last part of the law of attraction in place, and that's your environment. And that is where you live, where you sleep, where you work. If that is not aligned with your mindset, if that's not aligned with your soul purpose, it is harder. You will get there, but it will be harder to get to that point of really manifesting your dreams. So I always say, use feng shui in your life to make it easier, more effortless to manifest your dreams.
Yeah. So your feng shui, Diamond Feng Shui, is different than the classic feng shui. What's the difference?
Well, first of all, it is classic feng shui. Yeah, I just want to point that out. I don't change that. There are the classic principles in place. But what I add to it is working with the law of attraction. And so we're working also with kinesiology, with muscle testing. We work with understanding the brainwaves. So because when you are, for example, facing one of your good directions, your brainwaves will change to alpha state. When you're focusing on the wrong directions, you go easier into beta state. So I work with the whole neurology of the brainwaves. I also explain more certain colors that we say are helping on a quantum level. So I bring in a lot of quantum physics levels to it. So, and I made it just more practical, but it is based on the classically trained feng shui. I just brought also specific colors in place, what we call quantum colors, that work for everyone. So for example, I'm wearing right now magenta. So magenta is a color of peace and harmony. And I felt that was, when I tuned in, that would be a really good color for the Swedish community. So sometimes in other countries, I will use another color, right? So there's certain colors that work for everyone. And that is, typically Diamond Feng Shui.
That is so cute. I really like your blouse. And it goes with your lipstick as well.
Yes, it's always aligned.
Yeah, that's good. So is there a typical list that you can give us, like the first 5 steps to invite feng shui into your life? Like just a short list to get started.
Of course. So the first one is declutter your home.
Yeah.
Always remember, chaos around you is chaos inside of your heart and mind. So the first thing I say to people, let go of at least 10% of anything you have. So you create a space around you. The second part is try, and we talk about in Feng Shui Life book, try to sit yourself up in a power position. So right now I'm sitting in a power position. That means I can see the door. So I can see people walking in. Never sit with your back to the door as you're working or you're in a restaurant. Always see the people coming towards you. That enhances your vibration with 10% right away at that point. The third step, I would let go of anything that is broken, old, or dead. Think about plants that are dead or considered chi energy that is, not having life force. So take that away. Anything that is broken, don't keep it there. And, just anything that is sharp, let it go. Like even, so that's already the fourth step, is to look at plants that are round leaves are good. Plants with sharp leaves are not so good for your nervous system. So try to move them out, especially in areas where you have where you spend a lot of time, like in your office or your living room. If you don't spend a lot of time there, that's okay. I always say a lot of time means 3 to 5 hours. Then I would definitely also, a last step, check out your bedroom and make sure you have no mirrors reflecting your bed. And if you do have, cover them at night so you will sleep immediately much better.
Smart. That's 5 very concrete examples. Thank you. Now everyone can get started before they receive the book in their mail.
Yeah, there are simple steps, but they work. And so sometimes just that alone changes the vibration of their home.
I have a cracked mirror in my bedroom. What does that say?
Well, it's broken.
Yeah.
It's broken, first of all. And I don't know if it's doubling your bed, but what we have seen is that it doubles when it reflects your bed. It actually creates more health issues, more relationship issues, not such a good communication. So I always say to people, cover it at night, or if it's cracked, I would definitely remove it.
It's gone tomorrow.
Okay, good.
So do you have a few more minutes to talk about in the book we're talking about energy numbers, and you also talked a little bit about in the beginning here about numerology and its role in feng shui. Could we spend a few minutes to that?
Of course. So what about 2,500 years ago, the Chinese masters have started understanding that the qi flows differently based on your birthday. And so the calculations we're doing is not the typical adding up your numbers. There's like a mathematical formula behind it. And so they are calculating, and in the book, we kind of give a list for each Chinese New Year, because it's changing with the Chinese New Year. And you can find it also on the app, but that QR code is in the book also to find out. But
it was very easy. I found mine very fast.
What is your number, if I may ask?
7.
7, your advisor. Beautiful. And a lot of 7s are actually in working with books and publishing, interesting enough. Yeah. So what that you get a calculation when you're focusing on your birthday, and also it works with the male or female gender at birth, because we have yin yang principle when you're born. And so you, based on that number, you will get 4 directions that are really having high frequencies for you. And so there's a direction of success, one for health, one for relationship, and for wisdom. So your success is northwest. Yeah. So you will see that you need to then, from the center of the space that you're in, always look what is in the northwest for you, Alexandra, and then activate that area there. So you need to declutter it. You need to remove things that are not speaking about success and abundance. So let's say you have a bowl of potpourri, like dried flowers. That will tell, well, there's no life force in my success. So remove anything that is not related with your success energy, and then put things in there, like could be the logo of a company, could be books on success, on money, could be certificates that you have, could be important days of your life that you take a picture of and you put it there. So I have it in my success direction, is actually behind me. There's also my book. So I'm looking forward to put there my Swedish version of Feng Shui Your Life. So I have there my awards, not my fake Oscars, only my real awards. So I have there also my files. Yeah. Because when you have your files in your success direction, you'll be more respected and more honored. And then there's certain symbols based on the direction that you can place there. And that's, of course, in the book, Feng Shui Your Life. So that is what the energy number does. It tells you where to activate things in your home, but also, if you can, it's not always possible, to be able to face this direction. So, for example, when I need to make important phone calls, I will look at my success direction, because my chakras align more towards success frequencies. If I'm working out, or if I do Qigong, for example, I will face my health direction. So I have my app and I look, what is my health direction? And what I do, the Qi flows stronger for my health. If I want to have a conversation with my daughter, for example, to kind of see how to help her and support her, I will face my relationship direction, and I will make sure she's facing her relationship direction, so we have a better conversation. So that's why people keep using that, not just to only set up once your home, but to keep using your Feng Shui Your Life, and literally constantly. Like I have people, and then they use the app, they know their directions, and they turn themselves to that direction, and the energy flows stronger in their body.
Yeah. Smart. So how old are your children? How many children do you have?
I have 3 children. I have a son who's 38, who's living in Belgium. I have a grandson. I have a son who is 30, lives between LA and London, and I have a daughter who's 20. So, and yeah, they're all doing amazingly. Of course, they have all good feng shui.
Yeah, of course. Do they also practice feng shui?
I would say yes, definitely to set things up. One does it more than the other, but when they're moving or they're changing, they always check out their feng shui. I would say my daughter is probably the one that is the most in tune with that and shares it to all of her co-students and does all their dorm rooms. I think she's definitely going to follow my direction in life.
Oh, that's sweet. So, and they're quite old children. You look young. You started early.
Yes, I am, well, yes, but I'm 61. So, but I'm telling you also, when you have good vibration around you, you will keep looking younger, and the light within you will keep shining brighter.
That's very true. So when you talked about numerology, I was thinking about the spiritual genre of numerology, but that's perhaps not the case.
No, we're working differently. So we first of all, we're looking for finding your energy number. And then in more advanced feng shui, we're looking for every year, like every Chinese New Year, there is what we call the flying stars. And so the numbers will change every year to then activate your vibration. Then people take my classes online to then see what is, for example, in this year, we have the wooden dragon year. What are the extra numbers that relate with my energy number? And what does these numbers mean? They are connect with the 5-element theory. Then we choose certain extra acupuncture, like a crystal or a fountain or a wind chime, or colors that we're putting in your home to activate the vibration. And we also look at that from a monthly perspective if you really want to continue. So what we see is like my clients would ask, Marie, I have a book that needs to be published. Which is the months that are strong months based on my energy number? So there's a numerology behind it, but it's totally different than typical spiritual numerology.
Yeah, I hear a lot
It's
of
it's to find the flow constantly. Yeah.
Yeah, the yin and yang philosophy. Yes. Yeah. So I'm about to let you go very soon. I wondered, do you have a motto in life?
Well, I would say my motto is what I received when I was 15, and I live by that every day. I wake up in the morning and I'm asking the universe, I'm here to enlighten more than 500 million people. Show me how. And that can be one person I meet. That can be thousands of people I speak for. And right now, with The Secret, we have reached more than 500 million people already. So we just continue the work to do good, to love people as much as I can, and to bring them to a higher level of their energy and to create more happiness. I think that's probably my motto in life.
Yeah, that's beautiful, though. Is there anything special you want to tell your Swedish audience?
Well, first of all, I'm super excited to have this book, and thank you, Alexandra, and your team to publish it. I would say to them, just start, practicing it. It's a very easy to read book. People say they read it, from beginning to end, like in one flow, because it's so practical and so fun. And then go back and go to the steps that you feel you need to work on. And then it's an ongoing journey. So it's not like I've done it once. It's possible that you feel after a few weeks, oh, I want to change this, go back to the book. So I hope this book stays an ongoing guide for your life.
Yeah. Thank you. I hope so too.
Thank you so much.
And what I love about the book is that you can actually get practical help from reading just a few pages. So it's very, very good that way. So inspirational and practical. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Marie. And I would like to wish you a beautiful day. I'm going to have dinner with my family here. And you are out to enjoy the whole day in front of you.
Yes, yeah, it's still early morning, so I have still several interviews today, and then I'm going to spend some time with my husband out at the beach here in Southern California. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to spend always having good balance between work and family.
I could learn from that. Thank you so much. Have a lovely week, summer. Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.